Hey there, welcome back to the channel. It's always great to have you here with me. I hope you're having an amazing day no matter where you're watching from around the world. Now let me tell you what's got me really excited today. We need to talk about XRP because there's some incredible news breaking right now. I just saw this from Attack XRP that's absolutely mind-blowing. XRP is sitting pretty at $2.20, and here's the kicker. JP Morgan is forecasting a massive $14 billion in inflows from XRP and Solana ETFs. Can you believe that? Let me break down exactly what this means for all of us. So check this out. JP Morgan just cranked those numbers way up. Remember when they were talking about 6 to 8 billion? Well, forget that. We're now looking at 14 billion. And honestly, I think we're going to blow past even that number. Here's why I'm so confident. XRP ETFs are going to absolutely crush Bitcoin ETFs. Just look at the insane demand we're seeing right now. And here's the thing. This is just the beginning. We've got 6 more companies sitting in the wings, just waiting to launch their own ETFs. But you know what's really wild? The XRP community is going through this massive mindset shift that I've never seen before. For years, and I mean years, people kept saying, "Oh, 100 billion XRP? That's way too much supply." Sound familiar? Well, guess what's happening now? People are starting to wake up and realize something huge. 100 billion XRP might actually not be enough. Can you wrap your head around that complete 180? The whole scarcity conversation has completely flipped, and everyone's talking about it.
All right, so I'm looking at this data that says there are only 4.2 billion XRP sitting on exchanges right now. Now, is this accurate? Honestly, I have no clue. It's really hard to verify this stuff sometimes. I tried to dig deeper by checking out this tracker they mentioned. It's supposedly at xrprightnow.com/XRP-ETF tracker. But here's the funny thing. When I actually went to the site, it was completely unavailable. Maybe they're updating their data behind the scenes, or maybe there's something else going on. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. But here's what I do know for certain. We've got more ETFs rolling out, and every single one of these bad boys is going to lock away even more XRP from the market. That's just a fact we can bank on. So where does this leave us? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see how this whole thing plays out. Now, here's something that'll really get your attention. There's a market expert out there saying XRP could hit $1,000. Yeah, you heard that right. $1,000. But before you get too excited, the timeline might surprise you. So remember when Quack dropped that bombshell prediction about XRP hitting $1,000 by 2030? Even back then, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I think he's being too conservative. My gut tells me we're going to see this happen way sooner. I'm talking 2028. Now, most people hear that and immediately think I've lost my mind. The first thing they do is pull out the old market cap argument. Oh, that's impossible. The numbers don't add up. But here's what drives me crazy. They completely ignore the elephant in the room. Scarcity and demand. They're not thinking about market cap multipliers. They're not considering how supply and demand actually work. They just shut down the conversation with, "It can't happen." But me? I'm looking at this completely differently. I genuinely believe we're going to see demand for XRP absolutely explode. Think about it. More XRP getting locked away every single day. Treasury companies popping up left and right, and I'm convinced banks are going to be holding XRP in their reserves down the line. Plus, here's something most people don't consider. I think a huge chunk of that escrow is already spoken for by major players like the IMF and World Bank. So when someone asks me if $1,000 per XRP is possible, absolutely, 100%. And if you're asking me when, I'm sticking with 2028. That's my prediction, and I'm standing by it. Okay, so I just saw this wild post from Rob Cunningham that's got everyone going absolutely crazy. He's showing that XRP literally spiked to $9,160 on Kraken. And get this, it was recorded on November 19th around 4:15 UTC. $9,000. Now here's where it gets interesting. People love to say, oh, these are just typical price glitches that happen to all cryptocurrencies all the time. Really? All cryptocurrencies? Come on! When's the last time you saw Bitcoin randomly spike 45 times its value? Or Ethereum? Or any other major crypto for that matter? I'll wait. The truth is, these massive price spikes don't happen to other cryptocurrencies. They happen to XRP. And that's not a coincidence, folks. We've definitely seen XRP hit some absolutely insane numbers before during these glitches, but here's what makes this one different. This spike was actually captured and recorded. We have proof this time around. And let me tell you, this has got the entire XRP community buzzing like I've never seen before. People are asking questions, theories are flying, and everyone's trying to figure out what this really means. But here's the million-dollar question. What actually caused this massive spike? Well, it turns out Kraken's order book was unusually thin during that exact time window. And here's the kicker. Liquidity providers had mysteriously pulled back hours before this happened. Coincidence? I think not. So picture this. Someone who clearly knew what was going on could have placed a perfectly timed strategic market order, knowing exactly what would happen. This isn't some random computer error, folks. And here's what really gets me thinking. These so-called glitches aren't random at all. I've never bought into the whole, oops, technical malfunction explanation. And notice how they only seem to happen to XRP? Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, just XRP. I've always had this theory that what we're actually seeing is banks testing XRP at different price points on their private ledgers. Think about it. They need to know how the system behaves at various price levels before they go live with massive transactions. But here's what I know for absolute certain. When you start seeing patterns like this, when these tests keep happening, it's pointing to something huge on the horizon. This isn't just noise. This is a preview of the riches that are coming our way. 7. Let me put this into perspective for you because this is where things get really interesting. Ethereum went from single digits to triple digits in just 6 months. Solana? 9 months to pull off the same incredible move. But somehow, when we talk about XRP doing something similar, people lose their minds. That's impossible. That's crazy talk. Really? The second you mention XRP hitting triple digits, here come all the usual suspects with their arguments. Oh, but look at the previous cycles. What about market cap? What about the circulating supply? And my personal favorite, there's 100 billion XRP. It's never going to triple digits. You know what I say to that? I still think it's going to happen way sooner than any of these doubters expect. Jake's out there saying it could happen by the end of 2025. And honestly, he might be onto something. Personally, I'm thinking early 2026 if this train keeps rolling the way it's been rolling. Speaking of big moves, here's something that just caught my attention. CoinMarketCap has officially put XRP and ADA in the ISO 222 token category. Now, for those who don't know what that means, let me put this into perspective for you because this is where things get really interesting. Ethereum went from single digits to triple digits in just 6 months. Solana? 9 months to pull off the same incredible move. But somehow, when we talk about XRP doing something similar, people lose their minds. That's impossible. That's crazy talk. Really? The second you mention XRP hitting triple digits, here come all the usual suspects with their arguments. Oh, but look at the previous cycles. What about market cap? What about the circulating supply? And my personal favorite, there's 100 billion XRP. It's never going to triple digits. You know what I say to that? I still think it's going to happen way sooner than any of these doubters expect. Jake's out there saying it could happen by the end of 2025, and honestly, he might be onto something. Personally, I'm thinking early 2026 if this train keeps rolling the way it's been rolling. Speaking of big moves, here's something that just caught my attention. CoinMarketCap has officially put XRP and ADA in the ISO 222 token category. Now, for those who don't know what that means, I actually shared this exact same thing a couple of days ago, and boy, did I get some pushback. People immediately jumped in the comments saying, there's no such thing as an ISO 222 cryptocurrency. And you know what? They're absolutely right about that. I totally agree with them on that point. But here's where I think there's some confusion happening. What I was trying to explain is that these cryptocurrencies, XRP and ADA, they align with ISO 222 standards. There's a big difference there. It's not that the cryptocurrencies themselves are ISO 222, it's that the networks behind these cryptocurrencies are built to be ISO compliant. Let me break this down in simple terms because this is actually pretty important stuff. ISO 222 is basically just a messaging system. Think of it like a universal language that financial institutions use to communicate with each other. Now here's the cool part. Certain cryptocurrencies, like XRP, can actually be used within those ISO messages. So when banks and financial institutions are sending these standardized messages back and forth, they can include XRP as part of that communication system. Pretty neat, right? It's all about integration with the existing financial infrastructure. So earlier today, Smoke dropped this bombshell report that's got me really excited. The 2025 report is showing that institutional investors are quietly, and I mean quietly, accumulating ISO 222 tokens behind the scenes. We're talking about XRP, ADA, Algo, IOTA, XDC, XLM, and QNT. Oh, and I think I missed HBAR in there too, my bad. But here's why this is absolutely huge. These tokens are being recognized for being way less resource-heavy when it comes to energy use and carbon footprint. But that's not even the best part. They can actually be integrated directly into central bank payment systems. We're talking about supporting efficient cross-border payments and completely transforming the traditional financial landscape as we know it. And here's the kicker. Because some of these cryptocurrencies have such close ties with ISO standards, they're positioned to influence the entire global financial system and get major regulatory support down the road. When institutional money starts quietly accumulating these specific tokens, you better believe there's a reason behind it. And yes, this is all documented. Look, I've always said XRP is the ultimate what-if investment. Maybe you don't completely understand all the technical stuff about XRP, but you've heard people talking about it being used in ISO messaging. You've heard the $10,000 price predictions. So why not invest anyway? Think about it. What if it actually does hit $10,000? What if ISO integration sends the price to the moon? Wouldn't you want to be holding it when that happens? That's exactly why I tell people, even if you're skeptical about everything happening right now, just hold some anyway. Why not buy these utility-driven cryptocurrencies? They're solving real-world problems. This way, you'll have zero regrets later when things take off. We're talking about the future of money here. Stablecoins, tokenized deposits, CBDCs. So, how does all this digital money stuff actually fit together? I found this amazing breakdown from Cyprus that really puts everything into perspective, and I had to share it with you guys. Think about digital money in 3 simple ways. Who's issuing it? Who gets to use it? And whether it runs on traditional banking rails or new distributed technology. This chart breaks it down perfectly. You've got your public money. That's your cash, banknotes, and central bank digital currencies for both retail and wholesale use. Then there's your private money, commercial bank deposits, tokenized deposits, e-money, and stablecoins. Now, here's why this is so important right now. Every single country on the planet is moving toward either their own central bank digital currency or they're going with stablecoins. There's no in-between anymore. Take the United States, for example. Our president has said flat out, we're not doing a central bank digital currency. But guess what we are doing? A digital dollar stablecoin. And here's the thing that most people don't realize. The only real difference between the two is who's issuing it. If Ripple issues it, boom, it's a stablecoin. If the Federal Reserve issues it, suddenly it's a central bank digital currency. Same function, different issuer. And check this out. The UK just announced they're going to allow overseas stablecoins like RLUSD to be used within their domestic economy. This is huge! But here's what gets me really excited. XRP is going to be the bridge for every single one of these transactions. What we're watching unfold in real time right now is exactly what we've been talking about for years in the XRP community. It's all coming together. Picture this. XRP is like this massive liquidity pool, where money flows in as USD and flows out as euros. But now it's all happening through stablecoins. And that's exactly what every country is pushing toward right now. Look around the world. Some countries are already announcing they're launching the digital euro very soon. The US? I believe the digital dollar is basically already here. Japan's on the verge, and so is the UK. But here's the thing. Once all these stablecoins exist, they're still going to need something to connect them all together. That bridge? That's XRP. It's going to evolve into the world's ultimate bridge currency, connecting every single currency on the planet. Now, I see this whole ecosystem playing out differently for each token. Stellar XLM? That's going to dominate person-to-person payments and remittances. But XRP? That's going to be moving central bank money, and folks, that is absolutely game-changing. Then you've got XDC handling all the money in digital trade. HBAR, IOTA, Algo, and QNT are going to be like the glue holding this entire system together. And can I tell you something? Don't sleep on IOTA much longer. With smart cities and smart houses taking off, IOTA is going to absolutely dominate Industry 4.0. Think machines paying other machines. IOTA is going to be the king of that space. So here's how I see the lineup. XDC, king of digital trade. XLM, person-to-person payments. XRP, bank-to-bank payments. HBAR, a mix of everything plus AI integration. ADA? That's my up-and-comer with massive potential that keeps growing. I stick with those first 7 I mentioned, then I branch out to gems like Flare. And let me tell you something. If you could go back in time and buy XRP for 2 cents, you should be stacking Flare right now. That's exactly how I look at it. ISO is going to be absolutely massive, but here's why it's not huge yet. The banks are still in testing mode. But just wait until we see real momentum around stablecoins and CBDCs. That's when ISO is going to explode with crypto. Until all of this unfolds, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. Alright, that's a wrap on this video. Thanks so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. I'll catch you in the next one. Have an amazing night.